Hey, this is Mike Donahue. This is the story behind my song, Standing at the Edge of My World. Last year, my band, right before our spring tour, I says to them, hey guys, I need to take some time off. And they all say, hey, actually. And they all wanted to quit. Not for bad reasons, but for good reasons. They're like, hey, I want to go into real estate, and I want to go into production, and I want to be at home with my family, and I want to start a farm. And it's crazy, but all of a sudden I went, wait, so are we breaking up? And the band breaks up amicably, I'm telling you. And so our spring tour became our farewell tour, became our canceled from COVID tour. Quarantined, and I'm sure everyone has a dream that got dashed or unrealized or put indefinitely paused on by the pandemic and the quarantine. But I was sitting there in my house going, well, now what do I do? And I felt like, well, now you're going to start something new. You're going to do this solo career. And I said, I can't do that. I can't do that. What if it fails? What if it's not as successful? What if this? What if that? And I realized all these questions were sort of like the risk. They were just saying, the risk isn't worth it. The risk isn't worth it. And the questions were just compounding and compounding. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And I felt like God said, hey, I got two different questions for you. Because if you read the Gospels, you realize Jesus is always asking questions. He's really good at that. In fact, even when Adam and Eve in the garden, when they eat of the forbidden fruit, God comes to them asking questions. He doesn't come scolding. He says, where are you? Who told you that? And so, as I was swimming in my own questions, God asked me two new questions. We got this little board, we're Pinterest. We're like pretty Pinterest in my family. So we got this board and we keep this in our kitchen. And these are the questions we want our daughters to ask themselves. And these were the questions I felt like God said, Mike, you need to ask yourself the right questions. What if we weren't afraid? What if we believed we're loved? And suddenly those questions, when I started walking around and the question of risk and how is I going to do this, how is I going to do that, when I pushed back on the fear and I said, what if I wasn't afraid? And what if I believed I'm loved? And so that prompted some more questions. In the bridge of Standing at the Edge of My World, it says, what would I do? What would I do if I knew that I can fail, but you won't? It's true. Every breath is an offer from you. Would that be enough to keep me from standing at the edge of my world? Because here's the deal. When I read about faith and how much God loves faith, another way to read that is God loves when his children risk, right? He loves it when his kids go, Indiana Jones from the lion's head, I think God's got me. Notice, everyone scolds Peter for, sinking after he gets out of the boat and he starts walking on water and then he starts sinking because he doubted. But he's the one who ends up in Jesus' arms. So, when I don't want to risk and I don't want to take the first step and I don't want to get out of the boat and I don't want to believe that God's going to catch me when I screw up, I come back to these two questions. What if I wasn't afraid, and what if I believed I'm loved? Maybe it'd be enough to keep me from standing at the edge of my world.